Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. It is a Wargame Wednesday, and today I am going to dive on in for a first look at Panzer, North Africa from GMT Games. This is designed by James M. Day, with graphics provided by Justin Martinez and Mark Simonich. This game is for 1 to 3 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 60 to 180 minutes, depending on the scenario. It does carry an MSRP of $139. All right, all that said, let's swing on over to the other camera, because here I've got Panzer, North Africa. Before we dive on in, do want to mention my friends over at GMT Games were kind enough to provide me with this review copy. But neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. These days, it's very important that you know that. All right, let's get the shrink wrap off, and we will take a look at the back of the box. I will say this is a hefty box. This is a heavy box. I saw it's supposed to weigh 6 pounds. And when I picked this box up, I thought there is no way. This is only 6 pounds. So I weighed it. Turns out it's over 8 pounds. So this is going to be packed with World War II wargaming goodness. Panzer North Africa is a modular game system for 2 or more players, designed for combined arms small unit actions set in World War II. It is comprehensive, yet remains quick to play. It has one of the most detailed weapon and armor modeling systems as presented in its full-color data cards and charts. The streamlined counter-based command system steps play along at a brisk pace, moving players quickly into the action. Included in the game are the German Panzer IIIs, 4s, Italian M13/40s, Semavente, British Crusaders, Matildas, Grants, Shermans, and many other units, including infantry and aircraft. Sweet. So it talks about what's in this box. And as we see, the solitaire suitability is high. So let's open this up and take a peek inside. Interestingly enough, the first video I shared on the Gaming Gang channel was for Panzer. It was a review of Panzer. So it looks like we've got quite a few cardstock game maps. Feels like cardstock. We'll find out in just a moment. We have our TONE manual, optional rules, as well as our playbook. Then we've got scenario book number 1. Holy cow, scenario book number 2. Basic and advanced rules. Holy jamoli. Then it looks like we've got some terrain hexes that we can place on our game mats or game board. So we will dive on into that. I bet you we've got loads and loads of counter sheets also. So the first thing we're going to do, we are going to quickly pop through some of these books here, give you a better feel for these rule books. So we've got our basic and advanced rules. Panzer North Africa is a game of conventional ground-oriented combat set during World War II. It is designed to test the tactical skills of 2 or more players. As a tactical level game, the battles depict small unit actions. As such, any force can theoretically defeat any other force at any point during the campaigns for North Africa. That is the advantage tactical games have over strategic games. The time bias has a much smaller impact. Very good point. So it talks about our scale. If memory serves, Panzer is 1-to-1 as far as vehicles go. So these are all of our basic rules. So we're looking at terrain. We're not looking at each and every page because we've got a lot of pages to take a peek at here. So we got the combat phase, direct fire step, overwatch fire, armor-piercing firing sequence and rules, fields of fire, turreted vehicles, turret-less 360 vehicles, non-turreted vehicles, front field of fire, rear field of fire, resolving your armor-piercing fire. So, as you can see, there is a lot going on as far as the armor combats in vehicle combat too. So now we get into the advanced game, leg units, crew serve weapons, anti-tank weapons, our sequence of play. I'm sure we're going to have quite a few player aids for us to take a peek at too. It has been a long time since I've taken a peek at Panzer, but I do recall it not being a terribly complex system to start off with, to just learn to play. Of course, we do have all these advanced game rules. Overrun combat, looks like we've got aircraft as well. Got a glossary. We've got our glossary, index, and our terrain key on the back. So this is the basic and advanced rules. This is the TONE manual. So it's going to give us our various different command structures, as well as what units are included in various different platoons and regiments and companies. So there we've got that. We've got an optional rules book. So we had the basic advanced rules. Now we've got optional rules. So we've got morale. Panzer is actually built upon the old 88 war game from Yaquinto. I never had 88. I had a friend who had it, but I never had it. Although I used to pick up quite a few of the Yaquinto album games where they came like a record album and unfolded, and that was your game board. I have some very fond memories of some of the Yaquinto games, such as Swashbuckler. Although the reality is, I'm not talking about 88, I'm talking about Swashbuckler. I did get a chance to take a close look at Swashbuckler not long ago. I was like, oh, those are some rose-colored glasses I'm looking back at that game with. So here we've got our playbook. Discussing scenarios, how the scenarios are broken down. Discussion of designing scenarios. Here's solitaire rules. I thought it's kind of interesting because I saw that it's 1 to 3 players, and then on the box, it shows 2 or more players. But we do have the solitaire rules, and it showed the solitaire suitability to be very high, the highest, actually. Here we've got designer notes. It says, the GMT version of Panzer owes its roots to the original Panzer, Armor, and 88 games. There you go, by Yaquinto. You know what? I don't remember Armor. I remember Panzer. I didn't realize it was part of the same system. Then also MBT and IDF from Avalon Hill, as well as the Panzer Miniatures rules by StrikeNet Games. That's why I always felt that 88, and by way of that, the Panzer series did have its DNA linked to miniatures rules, especially when you get into the combat resolution of the tank-on-tank or anti-tank. So here we've got our solitaire tables. Next, we've got Scenario Book 1. I'll tell you right now, some people might be balking at the $139 MSRP, but you can see this is just jam-packed with content, just with the various different booklets. It's got all the various different scenarios here. Rommel's first offensive. Operation Brevity. Very cool. And as you can see, its numbering system is based on the other games in the Panzer series from GMT. So it looks like we're at about scenario 60 there. So it looks like we're going to pick up from that with scenario book number 2. Oh, sorry, scenario 62. And it looks like it runs through scenario 78. Wow. That is just amazing. Battle of Gazala. I think there's a few. I think there's a few scenarios that are devoted to that battle. Yeah, it looks like there are quite a few. Second Alamein. Tigers roam Africa. Crusaders in a Strange Land. And we'll wrap up with the end of Blade Force. That is our scenario number 78. So we got more goodies in this box. Here we have got all of our punch boards. We've got our player aids. So we'll take a peek at the player aids first. So we've got AP. I'm sure we've got HE, right? Our combat results, hand-to-hand modifiers, train effects, sequence of play. So our sequence of play is the spotting phase, command phase, initiative phase, first air phase, combat phase, movement phase, second air phase, and our adjustment phase. So we have 2 copies of this. A breakdown to the vehicle data card. So this is a key to that. Leg data card. Toe data card. And then we have a turn track, transport and summary track, hidden unit track. Kind of surprised that this is on the other side of that. I would think this would just be a standalone. Aircraft data card key. And, oh, look, we got another one, so we're okay. So then we've got terrain. Now, these aren't real thick. These are about the thickness of the cardstock, it seemed, from our maps. So just kind of give you an idea. So we've got an oasis, a walled village, other villages. It's like that might have been a depot there. Creeks, maybe. Hills. Probably difficult terrain. More hills. And more hills. And then we're going to start getting into our units. You know, I might actually zoom in to get us a better look because we do have some unit cards we'll be taking a look at. So here we've got our Axis forces. So these are the various different vehicles. It's like we've got commanders here. Dual-sided. The British. I don't know if these are historical commanders or not, seeing that this is a tactical level war game. So here we've got the German vehicles. So we've got various armor units. It's like we've got some armored cars there. Now we get into our leg units with the Italian, German, and British. Looks as if we're going to wrap up with some informational counters here. These are the ordered chits. So fire, move, overwatch. And turret counters. So you can show the direction the turret is facing. So we've got those. We have 4 10-sided dice. And then a bunch of baggies for our counters, lots of baggies for those counters. Then we're going to get into our unit cards. We are not going to look at all of these. We'll just look at some of them. And you know what I will do? I will actually zoom in once again to give you an even closer look. As you can see, these are really detailed. So we've got our ammo types, our defensive information, and these are dual-sided. So you are going to see a lot of units. Let's skip through some of these. So 8.8 centimeter flat guns, anti-tank, anti-aircraft. So some of the Italian forces here. There will be informational cards for the leg units too. Really nicely done. We have some aircraft for the Italians. So this is our infantry here. Mortars, heavy machine guns, anti-tank weapons, some anti-tank guns, anti-aircraft. There are 3 stacks of these. It's got to be one of the reasons why this thing is so heavy. But we do have an insert in the box to make things very easy to store so things don't fly all over the place. So now we'll get into some of the British units. It's Crusader 1 and the 1CS. So as far as our defensive information, we've got front or rear, and we've got the front rear side. So it's going to show us as far as I believe, the different ammunition. So as you can see, not only is the offensive information pretty detailed, so is the defensive information. There's quite a lot to that too. Some artillery batteries. There's the Valentine II. Mark II, I guess I should say. The Grants. So now we're going to see some of the American tanks that the British used. I wonder if we had the Sherman on the back. We do. Nice. And armored car. And I'll take a stab that the last stack is probably going to be focused on the infantry units more so than anything else. So anti-tank, howitzers. No, I was wrong. We've got some more tanks here. Ah, I see. So we've got our Panzers. More artillery. Here we go. Now we have some of the infantry. And then our crude weapons, mortars, heavy machine guns, anti-tank. So I was wrong. Actually, it's all vehicles. Yeah, I forgot. The infantry just really has one or two of these unit cards for each of the combatants. But as you can see, this is just jam-packed with content. So we've got all of these cards in here, and they're nice and thick. They are very thick cardstock, so those are going to hold up really nicely. Then we've got the game maps, and it appears that these are 4 panels by 1. So they are 4 across on these maps, and they are numbered for your scenarios. So these aren't just blank. Keeping in mind that you can use those terrain overlays to place on these as well. And of course, if you have any of the other releases in the Panzer line, you can certainly use those maps also. We have 6 of these, I think. That's what it looked like. This looks like this is mountainous terrain here. Quite a few different elevation levels. And there's just an area with a road. There we go. Sweet. We have one more. This is map 40 on this side. And there's map 34 on this side. All right, then. So we have all of these unit cards. We have the dice, got our baggies, our maps, all of the punch boards with all the informational counters, as well as our leg units and vehicles. We have all these terrain overlays. I think we had 6 of those. We've got our player aids. And all of the books. So we've got the 2 scenario books, the playbook, our optional rules, our TO and E, and our basic advanced rules. Holy cow. And that is what we find when we take everything from Panzer, North Africa, outside the box. Very, very impressive, I must say. All right, I will hopefully have a review of Panzer in the future. Like I said, I don't recall it being that difficult to wrap your head around the core concepts of the game. Once again, it's been a long time. It's been over a decade since I played Panzer and reviewed it. But hopefully Elliot and I will be able to get this to the table so I can share a review. All right, that is it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell. It'll not only let you know when I share a Wargame Wednesday first look or review, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are not going to find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and until I see you next time, I certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.